Good. We don't want another slip up. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Now, from what I can remember from the last time, the sister of the chief prosecutor is trying to help prove her sister's innocence, even though the defendant believes that they are guilty, which kind of makes me wonder, why even hire a lawyer if you think you're guilty? But it's whatever, let me share this on my Instagram and then we'll be good to go, fam. All right, then. One second. There we go. All right, let's get going. One second. Oh, hi, not Mia. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. Oh, really? But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Faye helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Okay. Never mind that. That's my clock. Give me 1 second. Do 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 do. Okay. Hi, babe.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. Wait a minute. Hey! Loop's cat is alive! Hey everybody, Loop's cat isn't dead. Anyway. It's been 2 months, but I haven't seen... But it's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be in the way be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it on the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness.
Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. It did sound sexual. I was literally trying to think of a pun to say. I was like, nah.
I haven't seen...
I cannot talk tonight.
Haven't I seen you somewhere? Curious.
You ordered the caviar lunch, right?
Ho-ho! Caviar! I've never eaten caviar before.
The judge is really wolfing it down. Ah, and for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox?
It is too early for lunch.
Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste?
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.
What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? The name is Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I've not finished eating.
Hurry it up!
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to
Give me a second. You want to try caviar? I've never had it either. I'm curious as to how it tastes.
As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
What exactly does that mean?
Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective?
Aha! I know who you are. cough up?
Cough up Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star.
Why are you stammering, Your Honor? And why do you remember the cough up queen? Never mind. No, I'm not going to say it. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Well, specifically, oral. Anyway. I'm terrible. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Be professional, Austin. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks.
I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes?
The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Spit or swallow. Cough up queen, Your Honor. That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, the judge gets around. He gets around. Anyway.
Who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans added to the court record.
Witness? Did you see the very...
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
It does seem rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on your principle, Your Honor. Oh, wait. I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Bitch. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give him the...
If you can't...
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star.
Wait, are they talking about me? Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something.
A presence. A presence I haven't felt since...
Anyway. Perhaps it was my finally honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. The detect in Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a it's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
It's only a flesh wound. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Alright, bitch. I'm gonna cross-examine you like I've never cross-examined anybody. Oh, really? You're making assumptions! How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy.
The lunch lady's uninformed The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted.
Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Hair flip. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that.
Oh, so you don't deny it, Miles.
Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still...
Sounds like you got a motive, sweetie. A motive to frame Miss Starr.
Anyway. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Laid off?
Was she fired?
Oh,
she was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro, as you know. My testimony's unbiased and flawless.
Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr.
I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend. He's the detective? Not that... Not that boyfriend. The security guard.
That boyfriend? You have...
Who? Yes. Boyfriend. Friend. Care to join?
Oh. Oh.
Yet other boyfriend is the yet other boyfriend position still open to applicants.
I'll stick with the thanks. But call me afterwards.
Note to self.
Yeah. Oh.
Note to self. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. Mic is cutting out. Okay, hold on. I still need to get a new mic. It's ridiculous. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign.
Oh wait, that was Phoenix talking, damn it. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car?
Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work.
You sensed something. So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder?
It felt like, how would you say?
The Force?
Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
What? Yeah, same. I have no idea what that means.
Speaking of a detective's intuition,
wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective?
Yes, well, he looks like a young cheese.
A young cheese?
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, with the odor of old cheese to match.
Emma, watch your mouth.
In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
But Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it?
Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you're sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. 30 feet, huh? I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
I believe I heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap! I took a picture. In fact,
Here it is.
one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck.
Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now?
You think it's you, a prosecutor? Think again. You feel like she's delivering more than lunches? Oh yeah, she's delivering some, well, she's delivering a different kind of lunch, if you know what I mean. Zing! Anyway.
Nani?
My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. How many boyfriends do you have, ho?
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
Crime photo added to the court record. Uh-oh. That is unmistakably Lana Skye. So what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all.
Yes, that's about right.
Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organ. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor.
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then?
Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no?
The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
Too late?
I'm sorry, babe, I can't sound out syllables. Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. Quit quoting Monty Python! You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that! I feel like the right hand thing. I have a hunch. I have a hunch. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. Oh. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure that is a fine lunch.
But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph.
Look at this photograph!
Hold on. This is the very photograph you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife?
Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection?
That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? They are boyfriends, basically. But it's a black and white photograph.
Ah, yes. It's hard to tell, but this could be blood.
Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you gonna just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Do. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. Not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Or premeditated murder. Fuck. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph.
Well, are those gloves?
Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on?
If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do not seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder. A serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They are rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came from the crime scene... Don't call me out like that, babe. She came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime.
Ah! Impressive! I'm sorry I took you off the force, Miss Star.
This is bad. She's got them thinking it was all planned. The trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's all Mr. Wright. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you said all. Go back to the last statement. What should you ease to soothe your cramps? Soup. You already had your soup. Then eat ice cream? I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of stuck. Ah, the knife. Okay, so the evidence. This is Goodman's ID. This is Edgeworth's King of Prosecutors trophy. His knife and stub from the prosecutor's office. The blue badger mascot for the police station. Goodman's autopsy report. Goodman's note. Those numbers. Lana Sky's cell phone. The parking lot floor plans. And the crime photo. Ah, okay, I get why it's the knife now. Objection! Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife.
What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon is a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Sky planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves.
Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning.
However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. Haha, got you there, bitch. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Top of the morning to you, ladies! Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Ah! Order!
Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. It's the only thing the prosecution need prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Again and again, huh? Well, what about that autopsy report?
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So, if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she is about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright. And it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there. You have no proof that she didn't?
Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts?
There's no record of a call made on the defendant Miss Lana Skye's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office, where he was murdered.
I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness? Or do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day?
I'm sure the prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. Have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See? We agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is just like a lunchbox with pretzels, don't you agree?
No! I get it. That's why my lunch is so salty.
This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman.
Will you tell us your basis for thinking this?
It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. I already get a feeling what the fucking proof is, but I'm gonna press her anyway. Seems her eyes are almost striking when she turns that way. Maybe it's because she shows her true colors when she does the hair flip thing. A human machine? That's a contradiction.
Objection!
Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Note to self. Mr. Edgeworth's sighs smell of citrus fruit. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people! Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Let's take a look at that autopsy report again, shall we? I got you, bitch.
Objection!
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound.
Ah, you're right. Good show, Miss Edgeworth.
What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed?
Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Oh my god, lady. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like a kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance! Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Ah, okay. She wasn't wearing the scarf. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. And you've proved it with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life.
Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really? Why is Edgeworth calling her out like this? I don't know. Maybe he's got his own motives. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What?
Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to the side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile.
You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Roar.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Cross-examination, if you will.
Lord, what is it with this lady? After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. So, where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Roar means I love you in Dinosaur. quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Quickly. Were you close to the... I just said I was feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Press her. I'd like to see this just to be safe. The Lunchland car was...
She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block.
So you witnessed the murder from here?
I was making about 30 feet from the car, yes.
Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, right. You're stumbling, lying.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you.
Went over it.
Amazing! A coffin queen, lunch lady athlete indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away? Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Are you sure you heard her say muffler, and not motherfucker?
Just that one word?
What you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but perhaps to someone else? Yes. The chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon, heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't seem to stop.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall?
That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone?
Indeed. The emergency phone was out of order that day.
Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should of course add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Good lord, I'm starting to fall asleep. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookie. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the... I'm trying so hard, babe. I'm gonna try to finish this day in court. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. Just make some ramen, babe. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time,
you climbed over the chain link fence.
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? I think I have a hunch on something. Yeah, how would she be able to see it? Oh, damn it. Let me take a look-see. Oh, okay. See, that's what I was thinking, but my dumbass thought it was the cell phone. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you were in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. 1 second. There's that music. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? What?
Order! Order!
It's simple, Your Honor. Coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Grr. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about where she saw it. I'm pretty sure. Let me save. Miss Skye tried to use the phone, but it was out of order. What's significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it.
Pointless to lie. I see.
But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location.
A different location?
Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it.
Let me ask you a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime?
All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. Where would she witness the crime? Do, 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 do. Yeah. If she was here, she could see the emergency phone.
That's true. That solves the mystery.
That would also allow her to see the that would allow her to see the emergency phone, yes. But if she was there, she would have been able to arrest her well before she dialed her cell phone. Oh. You doubt my speed? I can run 150 feet in 9 seconds, you know. Is that really that fast?
Not as fast as you'll...
Oh, son of a bitch. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, what if it's the security room? Because wasn't she delivering it? Oh yeah, babe, you said because she's delivering. I keep forgetting to look at the comments. I suck. I'm sorry. This is the only place where she could have been.
The security guard room?
Indeed. The security room is in the underground parking lot, as well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone.
Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, does this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr... It doesn't make any sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands.
It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we... Witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Well, she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference. But what? What would change? Distance. Because she says she was like 30 feet. It changes the distance between her and the...
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scenes of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where the sky?
Well, witness?
You ordered the squad wheels, right? Or the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. Bringing a PB&J lunch jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh my god, this lady. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block. That's
quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there, that the defendant's chair, who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop it? Yeah, raise an objection.
Objection!
5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with the 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Oh, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Sky dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah!
Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
Well, what was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. This is your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she got? What's she gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those were 5 minutes. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
Yeah, why would she be bleeding? And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe was already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness again. God.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene.
Why did you lie about those 5 minutes?
I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing.
Then why didn't you just tell the truth?
Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This is when the suspect is admitting she did it.
But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
I wouldn't call it the most despicable crime of all, but we'll see. And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with this shoe.
I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really.
In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the crime scene. Now tell us what you did next.
God, I'm starting to fall asleep.
hold on. So, you brought it to the forensics department.
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics department.
And she got away with her little coup just because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Well, the man was stabbed after all.
And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman?
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe.
Abby, I woke up at 8 this morning. I'm tired.
Wait, go back.
You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with the blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie?
Huh?
Well, speak up.
Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood drawn down to just one person. Or so I hear.
That's pretty specific.
If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's a very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies.
The suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman.
I was afraid he was going to say that.
I can't let this evidence go through without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or do you not have a problem with this shoe? A problem?
This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? Yes, there's a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie.
I'd give you a peppered fish gut now.
But you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with the evidence.
What is the problem with the evidence?
Oh.
Take that!
I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there's quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the shoe?
How about we look at that crime photo again?
The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe was covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim. Yeah, she's wearing dark shoes too. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. I'm sorry if my speech sounds slurred. I'm trying not to fall asleep. Then where were they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order! 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 Well, witness?
What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What?
I see. Now I get it.
Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. Played us like a goddamn fiddle. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the subject.
Tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Roar.
I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do.
No kidding.
Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, that? I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness! Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water?
What does that mean?
Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her.
What?
That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains on the left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence.
That reminds me, Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him?
So that's when my sister got blood on his shoe? Or that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe?
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she has tried to conceal it. But...
Enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye.
Hold it! Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well. I thought you'd had your fill, but you're demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence.
But wait! Witness, don't tell me you have something else.
The time for deliberations has passed. Any further comments, and you will be held in contempt of court.
Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this.
Photograph.
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
Oh, so it was the victim's shoe.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in the photo.
Hey, it's clearly wet.
Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind, immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia.
Right. Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Your Honor, wait.
What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence a proper consideration.
So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem.
Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph.
The problem in this photograph is here.
What's this?
There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor,
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph.
a muffler is also part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe.
I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Objection!
Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why it's important. You said as much in your testimony. What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case.
A cell phone.
Take that!
Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler.
Yeah.
Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, woo!
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait till after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry? Okay. To be continued. This is the perfect time for me to call it a night, folks. I am tired AF, so it's time to call this a night. Let me do that. But while I got you all here, don't forget to like, rate, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Maybe hit that bell notification to know when I play video games next. And yeah, I'll see you all later on the flip side.